What if I told you that the cursed ritual shown in this movie is inspired by a real-life Indonesian belief? A village haunted by a decades-old tragedy. A dancer who vanished without a trace. A mysterious shawl that always returns to its owner. And a terrifying spirit that demands a sacrifice every 10 years. At first, Kanera thinks she's simply visiting her friend's village for a vacation. But soon, she discovers that something ancient and evil has been waiting for her all along. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most unsettling Indonesian ritual horror films, Narik Sukmo. And trust me, the truth behind the curse is far more disturbing than you can imagine. So, the story begins with a girl named Kanera. She was at an abandoned place when she suddenly sees a lady dancing. That lady was wearing a traditional Indonesian dress. Kanera slowly walks closer to get a better look at her. But the moment she sees the woman's face, she freezes in fear. Terrified, she turns around and tries to run away. A demon appears right in front of her, and just then, Kanera opens her eyes. This was actually a nightmare of hers, but she was terrified by this nightmare. Here, we get to know that Kanera actually lives in a boarding house. Anyway, she steps outside to fetch some water. Just then, her friend Ayu suddenly appears behind her, holding Kanera's birthday cake in her hands, and seeing this, Kanera feels very happy that her best friend remembered her birthday. Now, after the celebration, both of them talk about going home because the vacations were currently going on. But Kanera was making excuses to avoid going home. But when Ayu asks her for the real reason, she reveals that if she goes home, her boyfriend will come there, with whom she does not want to talk at all because he had cheated on her with her other best friend. Now, Ayu says that if she does not go to her home, what will she even do by staying here? The entire boarding house is going to remain empty. Ayu tells her to come with her to her village, the name of which was Kawangan Village. Kanera says that she has probably heard this name somewhere before. Then Ayu tells her that great dancers were born in this village. Kanera, who herself was a dancer, gets interested in going there, and I would like to tell you that Kanera had stopped dancing for some reason. Now, after this, while researching the village, she finds an article about a dancer named Mayung, who mysteriously disappeared 10 years ago. Until date, nothing has been found out about what happened to her. Now, the next day, Ayu and Kanera go shopping before heading to the village, where Kanera went into an antique shop. Inside that antique shop, she finds a red shawl, which she begins to touch and look at, when an old lady suddenly comes behind her, who was the owner of the shop. She was very happy to see Kanera, and she tells Kanera that a shawl chooses its own owner, just like in Harry Potter, where the wand chooses its owner. Now, Kanera found all of this pretty fascinating, but she did not think about why the old lady had said such a thing after all. Anyways, after this, she leaves the shop, where we can see that same dancer lady in the mirror, meaning probably the one who had disappeared. Anyway, after this, she tells her friend all these things, and her friend tells her that she should not take anything from strangers. Then Kanera says that she is thinking a bit too much. There is nothing like that. Anyways, after this, these people leave for the boarding house, and we see that the antique shop Kanera had gone into was actually not even there. Yes, it was just an empty shop, which means something wrong had definitely happened with Kanera. Anyway, after reaching the boarding house, both of them prepare to go to the village. But before leaving, Kanera keeps that shawl and pin inside her wardrobe. Eventually, they arrived at the village by bus. But while going on the way, it suddenly starts raining, after which they stop under a shelter. But the rain did not stop. Then, getting drenched, they reach Ayu's house, where Ayu's mother opens the door. Ayu introduces Kanera to her mother, and she was very happy to see Kanera when Ayu's father comes there, and Ayu introduces Kanera to her father. But his reaction was nothing special. He was a bit surprised to see Kanera here. Anyway, after this, Ayu and Kanera go to Ayu's room, where Ayu apologizes to her regarding her father's behavior. Perhaps he was surprised because he did not know that a friend of Ayu was going to come here, and Ayu had never brought any friend home before today. Then, after this, both of them take a bath one by one, and when Kanera comes out after bathing, she sees someone inside a room, and she thinks that this is Ayu, and therefore she goes to call out to her. But just then, Eu's father comes there and tells her that this is not Eu's room. Hearing this, she leaves from there. Now, at night, Eu and Kanera were talking about Eu's father, where Eu reveals that during school time, she was not allowed to date. Back then, her father used to say that she is too young for these things. But when she came to college, even then her father refused to let her date. Kanera says that dating is a very bad thing. When a heartbreak happens, it feels very bad. Then Eu says that at least she knows what it is to love. She has not experienced anything at all. Saying this much, she falls asleep, but Kanara's phone had switched off. Therefore, she goes to get the charger from her bag. But inside the bag, she finds the exact same shawl and hairpin, which was a very strange thing because she had left these things inside the boarding house itself. And only then does she remember that old lady's words, in which she had said that this shawl never separates from whoever it chooses. Now, in the meantime, Kanera sees that the ceiling is leaking, so she goes to fetch a bucket. When she was going with the bucket, she suddenly finds Eu's father sitting there, seeing whom she instantly got scared. Now, she tells Eu's father that she had just come here to fetch a bucket, but her father does not give any response. He had become completely frozen. Then Kanera goes straight to Eu's room from there. She was feeling quite weird here as to why Eu's father was behaving like this. But then, shockingly, we see that Eu's father was actually sleeping on his bed. So, who was the one sitting out there? Anyway, while Eu's father is sleeping, that same demon comes to him, whom we had previously seen in Kanara's dream. The spirit leans closer and whispers into Eu's father's ear, "Until death separates you." Startled, he immediately turns on the lights, but no one is there. A moment later, he quietly stares at a photo of his late brother. The next day, Eu takes Kanera on a tour of the village. Eventually, they arrive at a local dance studio, where Eu introduces her to the dance instructor, Sarti. While they are there, a young musician named Darjo arrives. He seems genuinely happy to meet Kanera. As they watch the children practice, Eu asks if she misses dancing. Kanera simply shakes her head and says no. Then Eu forcefully brings her among the children and says that her friend also knows how to dance, and tell her to dance. But Kanera says that she used to dance before, but now she has forgotten how to dance. Meanwhile, Kanera notices the same mysterious dancer standing nearby. The woman seems to be staring directly at her. Seeing this, Kanera becomes visibly frightened. Sarti also notices the fear on her face, but with just a slight distraction, that lady disappears from there. Meanwhile, we see Eu's father, who is telling his wife that Banyo has returned. Now, who Banyo is here, you will get to know ahead. Hearing this, Eu's mother says that she doesn't know who his victim will be this time. From their conversation, it is revealed that Banyo was indeed involved in the disappearance of the girl named Mayung 10 years ago. Now, it could be that Banyo might be that same demon. But Eu's father does not believe this thing because Banyo had no connection or enmity with Mayung whatsoever. So why would he do such a thing? Anyway, now at night, Eu and Kanera were at home, where Eu was telling her about the village and Darjo. But Kanera was lost somewhere else entirely. She was terrified regarding that dancing lady. Now, here she tells her that Darjo's parents are no more, and his sister had disappeared many years ago. Kanera asks how? Then Eu tells her that nobody knows this. Anyway, now at night, after they fall asleep, Kanera sees that dancing lady in her dream again. Kanera was asking that lady who she is. Then that lady turns her head all the way back around, seeing which Kanera screams out. Just then, that black demon chases her, from whom she was running to escape. But meanwhile, Kanera wakes up. But this demon had come inside her room as well, seeing whom she gets very scared. She was waking Eu up, but Eu was in a very deep sleep. Just then, the room door opens on its own, and Kanera comes out of that room. Coming outside, she was moving forward out of fear. That demon was around her somewhere when she suddenly reaches outside that very room which was locked. But that room's door also opens on its own, and Kanera begins to go inside that room. Now, right then, inside that room, she sees that same dancer lady, seeing whom she came outside due to fear. But just then, Au arrives there. But as soon as Au arrives, the door closes. Now, the next day, Kanera tells Au everything about the lady appearing in her dreams. She also says that this is not the first time she has seen all this in her dream, and it has happened several times, and she also tells her about that black demon figure. Then Au tells her a story that she had come to know from the villagers. But her parents had never told her anything about this matter. She reveals that the room which is at her house actually belongs to her uncle, whose name was Banyo. So, friends, Banyo was actually Au's uncle. Au then reveals that Banyo once had a girlfriend named Ratty. She was a talented dancer who also lived in this village. But one day, the villagers burned Banyo alive. Ever since that incident, Au's father has forbidden her from getting too close to other people. However, the villagers believe that Banyo's spirit returns every 10 years and demands a sacrifice. And that sacrifice is always a dancer. The girl who disappeared 10 years ago was none other than Darjo's sister, Mayung. In fact, she was the same dancer Kanera had read about in that article. According to the villagers, Mayung became Banyo's victim, after which they go to Darjo for more information. Darjo tells them that Ratty is actually a spiritual manifestation of Banyo himself, who has come here to take revenge on the people. And for this very reason, Darjo's uncle Adi performs a ritual every 10 years to appease Banyo's spirit. Then Au asks whether this means Kanera will have to go to his uncle Adi. Hearing this, Kanera says that she does not need to do that. She is just thinking a bit too much. Now, Darjo tells her that no matter what happens, she must not dance here at anyone's behest, especially at Radia's bidding. Anyway, after this, we see Darjo's uncle Adi, who was secretly listening to their conversation. Now, at night, Au's father begins to drink tea when his tea suddenly turns into blood, and a spirit appears in front of him, which was burnt. That spirit asks him where that girl is. Seeing this, he gets quite scared. But he was not telling this matter to anyone. It was none other than Banyo himself. The spirit standing before him was his own brother. At night, Kanera was thinking about all these things, as to why that dancing lady has turned against her. Anyway, in the meantime, when she falls asleep, but when she wakes up, she finds herself alone in the room. Au had disappeared somewhere. At the same time, inside that room, she finds a paper on which was written, "Twin eclipse, 2 souls, 1 love, 1 revenge, Narik Sukmo." She does not understand the meaning of this at all as to what this is. Now she was just looking at all this when that dancer lady arrives there, and she forces her to dance. Kanera was dancing even against her will. On the other side, Au wakes up, and she does not find Kanera on the bed, but she hears her voice, and she quickly calls her parents, and they begin to search for her here. But no one was there. Then they begin to hear that voice coming from Banyo's room. Here, Kanera, in a state of possession, was saying that what is buried will rise again. Now, Au's father quickly opens Banyo's room, where Kanera was floating in the air because she had become possessed. But immediately after their arrival, she falls down and becomes unconscious. And seeing all this, Au was scared. She was worried about Kanera here. Therefore, she asks her father what is actually going on. And why doesn't he tell her anything? Because her friend is getting affected by this here. But Au's father does not tell her anything. Then Au quickly goes to Darjo and asks him what is actually going on. And why is her friend getting affected by all this? Because Ratty and Banyo's enmity is with the villagers, so they should take revenge on the villagers. And what is her friend's fault in this? Here, she says that she is taking Kanera away from the village because everything bad is happening with her here, and saying this much, she leaves from there. After which, at night itself, Au and Kanera leave from there. But on the way itself, some people catch them. After which, Kanera's eyes open at a house, when Darjo comes in front of her, and Kanera feels that Darjo himself had caught her. But he says that he did not bring her here. Kanera asks him about Au. Then he tells her that he does not know all these things. But she was thrown over by Mr. Persomo's men. But Persomo was none other than Au's father himself. Yes, Kanera does not believe these words of his. But Darjo tells her that there are 2 groups inside this village, out of which one is the Persomo group, and the second is his uncle's group, meaning Adi's. Perhaps Persomo has done this to her. But why would he do such a thing to her? Darjo first calms Kanera down, after which he goes to talk to his uncle, where his uncle tells him that he should prepare this girl, meaning Kanera, for the ritual. Now, what was going on here you will understand in a little while. But right then, we see Darjo alone when that same demon appears in front of him. Meanwhile, we see Au, who had been found by her parents, and now she was at home, but she had to find her friend. Just then, Au's father, Mr. Persomo, arrives there, who had gone to look for Kanera, but she was nowhere to be found. Here, he was trying to talk to Au, but instead of her father, Au sees that same demon, looking at whom, she begins to scream very loudly. Then her father handles her, and she becomes normal. Now, in the next scene, Au's father goes near Banyo's grave, where he asks him to leave Au alone, and he says that Au is his niece too. He is doing nothing wrong to her. On the other side, we see Darjo's uncle Adi, who gathers several people, and those people were quite strange. Now Adi says that today, finally, they have a dancer among them through whom they can perform the ritual. Meanwhile, we see Kanera, who was at Darjo's house, when that shawl suddenly comes in front of her and catches her, and that shawl was being controlled by Ratty. But just then, Darjo arrives, and everything became normal. After this, Kanera was sitting near Darjo, and he tells her the real truth. And friends, now the truth behind everything is finally revealed here. Now he reveals here that a long time ago, Banyo, who was there, possessed land. He had farming done there and gave grains to the people. But after eating that, people began to fall sick, and some people were also killed. Getting angry, the people burnt Banyo alive. Although Adi had tried very hard to stop them, even then they did not stop. On that very day, Ratty also disappeared, and later people found her hanging, meaning she was also gone. Uncle Adi was very saddened by this because he too loved Ratty. Just after that, this village became cursed. A curse came upon it, and every 10 years, a dancer used to be taken away here by Banyo and Ratty, just like what had happened with Mayung here. On the other side, we see Au, who had begun to get possessed. But Au's father was trying to save her. However, he is unable to do anything. After which, he goes to his brother's room, where going there, he begins to ask his brother the reason for doing all this. Anyway, just then, a book falls there on which the same note is found. On that note was written, Twin Eclipse, 2 souls, 1 love, 1 revenge, Narik Sukmo. And just then, Radia's spirit comes from behind, who says into his ears, Dancer. Hearing this thing, Au's father goes to his wife and tells her that his brother was innocent, and he had done nothing. And now, what had happened in Banyo's past, you are just about to find out. Anyway, now Au's father says that they are using Kanera so that revenge can be taken on the villagers, meaning the ones who had burnt him. Now he leaves to save Kanera. On the other side, the time for the ritual had come, and today was a lunar eclipse as well. Adi's man comes to call Kanera and Darjo because the time for the ritual had now arrived. Here, they take Kanera along for the ritual too, and Kanera was thinking that this ritual will save her. Anyway, now the scene changes where they reach that ritual destination, which was the dance studio itself. Going there, all the people disappeared from around Kanera. Just then, Ratty and Banyo come in front of Kanera, who were dancing. Ratty is the one showing all of this to Kanera. She wants Kanera to learn the truth. As the visions continue, Ratty reveals what really happened to Banyo. Turns out that Banyo was not killed by the villagers alone. Adi was involved in it as well. Yes, he had a hand in Banyo's death, meaning it was clear that Adi had not stopped any villager from killing Banyo. In fact, he was in on it. It was obvious that he loved Ratty, and that's exactly why he wanted Banyo dead. Anyway, seeing all this, Kanera understands that Adi is a very bad person. But now, just then, everything had become normal. Those people forcefully make Kanera sit in the ritual. But just then, Au's father comes in between, due to which Kanera ran away. Then Darjo and the rest go to catch her. But just then, Darjo had spotted Kanera. But what happens is that he does not tell anyone about her. However, Kanera herself, who is there, begins to scream because that same black demon had come in front of her. looking at whom, she screams very loudly and gets caught. This time, Canera is tied up. But Ayu's father screams and tells everyone that whatever had happened, all of that was done by Adi, and he himself poisoned the people and put the blame for it on Banyo, meaning the grains that Banyo had given were absolutely fine. But the one to mix poison inside the grains was none other than that Adi himself. And after this, we learn even more shocking truths. So here, we get to know that Banyo's lover was Ratty, but Adi liked Ratty. But he could not get her. Unable to win Radia's love, Adi came up with a cruel plan. He decided to frame Banyo, so he secretly poisoned the villagers. Then, he spread the rumor that the villagers had died after eating grain from Banyo's harvest. But nobody knew the real matter, and therefore the villagers, out of anger, burnt Banyo alive, and after his death, Ratty also ended herself out of grief. But every 10 years, Ratty and Banyo's spirit comes to take revenge on the villagers. But Adi performs a ritual inside which he used to sacrifice a dancer, and through this, they are able to confront Ratty and Banyo's spirit and they stop them. And one more thing, Mayung too was sacrificed by Adi himself for the ritual so that he could remain safe. Anyway, here he was telling all this by screaming. Therefore, Adi stabs him. But Ratty tells Canera to dance, and here Canera, with the help of Ratty, becomes free and begins to dance. In the meantime, Darjo, who was under the uncle's influence, attacks the uncle himself. But the uncle begins to beat him up instead. Then Darjo, drinking oil inside his mouth, blows it on Adi with the help of fire, due to which Adi was killed by getting burnt right there. But because of that, fire had broken out everywhere out there, and all the people ran away from there. We see that Ratty and Banyo were saying thank you to Canera because she stopped the ritual. Along with that, they tell her that she should never stop dancing, and fire was breaking out at that place. Therefore Darjo comes and saves Canera. Unfortunately, Ayu's father, Mr. Persomo, did not survive. Anyway, now the scene moves forward, where Canera throws that same shawl into the water and moves forward. Now here Darjo was going to study along with Canera and Ayu because he had to make his future. All three of them leave together. But we see Radia's mother, who even today was immersed in the grief of Ratty. While traveling on the bus, Canera discovers the same shawl in her bag once again. At that moment, she realizes something terrifying. Ratty is still with her. Perhaps her revenge is not over yet. And with that chilling reveal, Narik Sukmo comes to an end. So friends, this was the story of the Narik Sukmo film. Hope that you liked it. Now look, here the Banyo and Ratty who were there, right? Both of them were lovers and they were performing an ancient dance, meaning this was a symbol of love. But here, the one man whose name was Adi, he loved Ratty and out of spite, he got both of them killed here indirectly. Here's the thing, his initial plan was indeed this, that he will just get Banyo killed. After which, here Ratty will become his. But Ratty, who was there, she loved Banyo so much that she ended herself. The truth is, their souls became trapped there and they wanted to finish everyone inside this village. But here, this Adi, he performed such a forbidden ritual which is done by sacrificing a dancer. Here, he had not even spared Mayung. He even sacrificed Darjo's sister, Mayung. That alone shows what kind of monster he truly was. What's even worse is that he performed the ritual to keep those spirits under control. The ritual prevented them from doing anything inside the village. More importantly, it protected Adi from their revenge. And to keep the ritual working, a dancer had to be sacrificed every 10 years. But in the end, Ratty freed Canera. She asked her to dance, and then this dance was performed, which was a symbol of love, due to which this ritual broke. The entire curse, right, that too was probably finished. But now, what does the ending of this movie signify? So that hairpin and that shawl, they were going to remain with her here forever, which will always remind her that she must never leave dancing. One interesting thing is that Darjo survived, despite being from the same village, and perhaps revenge was not taken on him. That could be one possible explanation. But I feel that this signifies that the shawl and the hairpin, right, they will keep reminding her of this very thing, that she always has to dance and never lose heart. So, hope that now you have understood the whole movie well. If you understood the video, then give it a like. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe. So, I will meet you all with the next video. Until then, stay ghostly.